People who work in elections understand that we are part of the foundation of democracy.
Following all the RCWs and all the best practices, and we take it very seriously.
It doesn't always have the front page of the paper and you're doing things right, but we all know how important it is at the end of the day to do it right.
The Clark County Elections Office has a comprehensive set of practices and procedures to ensure an accurate, accountable, transparent, and secure election.
Voter registration and the administration of elections are conducted per the requirements set forth in federal and state laws, as well as state rules, the Washington Administrative Code. And it's our obligation, our requirement, to administer that voter registration and elections in compliance with each and every one of those laws and rules.
Because of the various jurisdictions, districts, and precincts in Clark County, more than 350 unique ballot styles are created for any given countywide primary or general election.
It's a very great voting system, very user-friendly in creating those ballot styles. When we make sure every ballot that goes out to a voter, it's been proofed by at least 3 election staff members to ensure there's no typos on it and that every race and every candidate appears where it's supposed to appear.
All the ballot style files are delivered to a company with expertise in ballot printing. There are strict standards for ballot printing, including the smoothness, opacity, brightness, and grain of the paper.
And the reason for all of these specifications for the paper is because these ballots may need to be folded and unfolded and folded and unfolded several times, run through tabulators several times if there's a recount.
The corner cut on the paper is for election workers to easily orientate ballots. Each ballot is printed with a unique code to identify just that ballot, so it can only be counted once.
And by law, you can't be able to trace back to a specific voter and a specific ballot and match them up. What we do after it's printed and it starts getting in line to be folded, we're taking lifts, then separating them into 3 different piles that go into a box. So there's no way that you could go back in and try and figure out how that ballot could be associated with a registered voter.
The ballot boxes are sealed with tamper-evident tape, identified by precinct, put on pallets, shrink-wrapped, and delivered to the mailhouse to be assembled into ballot packets.
This stage is where the envelopes have the voter's name, address, and a barcode inkjetted onto your envelope. That barcode contains a valid ID for this election. We can scan that affidavit envelope. It matches with your voter registration. As the envelopes are being printed, they're printed by precinct. As you can see, when he's pulling them off the machine, he's going to be sorting through them, looking for blank envelopes, making sure our print's not blurry, and occasionally he'll even scan some envelopes just to make sure that that barcode is readable.
After the affidavit envelope has been printed, the ballot packet is assembled. This includes mechanically inserting a voting instruction sheet, the optional secrecy sleeve, the affidavit envelope, and the ballot into an outer envelope.
We oversee the entire process. We verify that each packet is assembled with the correct pieces. We make sure the affidavit envelope and the precinct match on each piece.
There are more than 320,000 active registered voters in Clark County. Ballot packets for primary and general elections are typically mailed 18 days before an election. On that same day, seasonal election workers open the 22 ballot drop boxes located throughout the county. Soon after, voters start returning their ballots either by drop box or mail.
We do pretty much everything in groups of 2. It's accountability. You have one person doing something on their own. You can't be guaranteed what a person could be doing. But 2 people, there is the accountability to the other person. And that's very important to us.
At predetermined intervals, crews retrieve ballot envelopes from drop boxes in the post office. At each stop, they document the site and check security ID lock numbers from the last visit. They retrieve the ballot envelopes and document and secure the holding bag. Then document and secure the drop box as the previous crew had done. At the election office, the ID security lock on the bags holding the ballot envelopes is opened and checked with the documentation inside. Election workers then align the envelopes for the sorting machine and count the number collected from each drop box.
Every ballot must go through this machine at least 2 times. The first time it comes through, it's going to take a picture of the voter's signature. It runs the barcode that's on your signature envelope and it matches it with your voter registration. From that point, the signature image is taken by the sorter, is then transferred to our vote while management system where we can verify your signature right next to the signature we have on file for you.
The sorting machine places the affidavit envelopes into pockets by precinct. After the run, the envelopes are held in a secure room waiting for signature verification.
This might not be Adams, and maybe we need...
All of our signature verifiers are trained through the Washington State Police Fraud Unit, and they have frequent refresher courses.
You're looking for comparisons, like 3 comparisons. Sometimes people may just have a scribble, and if it is just a flow of a mark, it needs to be consistent in that flow. And you're looking for the size, the shape, the distance in the letters. If you're doubting it, then you put it up for review.
So this is our second pass of our sorter. These ballots have already been through signature verification. Anytime you hear a little zip in the background, that's the ballot being opened. That means the signature was verified on that envelope. At this time, the ballots are actually going to be sorted into individual precincts. This is done so when we do our ballot inspection, we can ensure that each ballot is from the right precinct.
Affidavit envelopes where the signature did not match or is missing are not opened. Instead, these envelopes are sorted into a separate pocket to be held in a secure room. Elections office staff will send letters to these individuals asking for another signature for verification so that their vote may be counted.
They sit in teams of 2, and they start by taking the envelope, reaching into the bottom that's been slit open, pull out the secrecy sleeve along with the ballot, and they make 2 different stacks. And then we put those affidavit envelopes away. And then we'll take that group of secrecy sleeves with the ballots intact, and they trade it to their partner. It's at that point right there that that ballot is truly secret.
Ballot inspection crews are looking for overvotes, write-in votes, or other possible anomalies. Ballots are sorted into 2 groups: ballots where the scanning machines will properly record the votes, and ballots that require more attention to determine the voter's intent. Runners pick up these ballots and give new bundles of affidavit envelopes to the inspection crews. Ballots are placed into batches and then fed into scanning machines.
A ballot has 6 barcodes on it. I'm going to go over the importance of why those barcodes are on here. The first barcode down here in the corner has an embedded serial number in it. The purpose of that serial number is to make sure that that ballot cannot be scanned more than 1 time. It also ensures that the front and the back of the ballot are scanned because the same serial number is on the front and the back of your ballot. It's so that 2 pieces of paper cannot go through the scanner and be misinterpreted as 1 ballot. We have another barcode on the ballot at the top. This one contains the election information. It tells the scanner it is in fact from the current election, tells it that it has the right precinct ID, and then this bottom barcode here tells the machine where the boxes are and will orient the ballot. So the ballot kicks through the scanner a little sideways. It can actually re-straighten out that ballot image so it knows where the boxes are, looking for the marks in those voter intent boxes.
Scanning machines create a cast vote record. There is no tabulation. The tabulation computer is separate. It has been locked up for weeks and will be opened election night. The scanning machines and the tabulation computer are not connected to the internet. Neither do they have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or any other type of wireless communication capability.
To our logic and accuracy test for those that have not been. Before every election, we conduct a logic and accuracy test. And that is a test that makes sure the ballots are programmed properly and they're counting properly. And then we will invite observers and the public, and they can watch us run those test ballots through. We have a predetermined spreadsheet to make sure that we can count and review every candidate, every race, every ballot style, and every precinct in the election. And then we print out the results from it. I will read from that spreadsheet for my expected results, and they read along with me to make sure everything is right. 356, rejected, 8.
Witnesses sign and certify the logic and accuracy test and the ID security seal lock for the tally computer.
We lock that tally computer up until election night. Then on election night, we open it in front of witnesses also, and then they verify the same seal is on there that when we put it under in the logic and accuracy. Our sorter will take a picture of the signature along with the barcode that's on the envelope.
Volunteer election observers are invited to observe ballot processing, from the gathering of ballots to the certification of an election.
So election observers are such an important part of the elections administration process. They provide transparency to the public. Here in Clark County, we have 3 organizations that provide observers, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, but also we have the League of Women Voters also provides observers. It's important to have that kind of independence that comes from volunteers.
Well, first of all, I believe in democracy, and the core of democracy is a free election process. It's safe and fair. They are very diligent in making certain that all eligible voters will have their ballots counted.
The role of observers in the
To become an election observer, an individual watches a training video and follows up by responding to some questions.
And we upload those to our website.
We encourage observers to come down and watch the process or even take a tour. We can explain it on paper for a long time, but you really have to be here to see what the process is going, and then ask questions, and then from there go on.
There are designated observation points. We try to give them a good vantage point, but we want to make sure that they're not interfering with all of our workers.
Observers are only allowed to observe, not interact with workers. If observers have questions or concerns, they can speak to election managers.
So my take on that is that the process here in Clark County is really driven by the auditor and how he interprets things. It's not really driven by the citizens of Clark County.
Clark County elections are dependent on seasonal workers. The full-time election staff could never process an election alone.
The seasonal workers are, we couldn't do without them, and they are just so dedicated to the mission that we have. I mean, some of those people have been working here for 30, 40 years.
Our first time working for elections was the presidential in November of 2016. And my husband's a veteran. We just feel like this is a great way that we can contribute.
Why do I keep coming back? Because I enjoy the public. I worked with the public for 38 years, and I enjoy the people. I like the camaraderie. One thing is, through my experience through the years, Greg is my 6th county auditor, and each one has made some kind of an improvement. And this is a good system. It works good.
It really has given me confidence in our voting system here. Prior to working here, it was, the whole election office was kind of a black hole where the ballots disappeared and somebody came up with a count. But the way we process the ballots, it just, no doubt in my mind that we're doing a fair and proper accounting of everybody's ballots and all the votes.
What I'm doing right now is the unreadable ballots are ones that come in with overvotes or write-ins or pencils or something unusual, like something marked out that would look like a vote if it went through. And they go to the people who are doing the special resolution.
The state of Washington is a voter intent state. Through the resolution and adjudication process, specially trained election workers go through ballots to discern voter intent.
If a voter votes for candidate A and they realize, no, I want candidate B, we tell them right on the ballot and in the voting instructions to cross out candidate A and vote for candidate B. But if we would have run that through the scanner, look at that ballot as an overvote, and overvotes would invalidate that race. So with our Heart Verity system, we are able to do on-screen adjudication. We actually bring that ballot up on screen. Our observers can watch this entire process, and they can deselect the one that the voter clearly indicated they did not want. Of these ballots, and we let observers kind of help.
As another test of the scanning machine's results, about a week before Election Day, the most high-profile race is chosen for a manual audit.
We will have observers who will randomly select 600 ballots for us to scan. We will prepare them into batches of 100. We'll scan these 600 ballots onto their very own V drive. It's an encrypted thumb drive that captures the cast vote records. And we will lock that V drive away until election night.
The day after Election Day, the ballots in the V drive will be unlocked for the audit. Seasonal workers will hand count the 600 ballots of the high-profile race. That hand count is then compared to the results of the scanning machines.
Over the years we've been doing that, been a perfect match, but it also has shown that the humans counting votes is not as accurate as machine counting votes. And I can say that because, just as an example, when we give the teams a 600 ballots to count, it might take a couple times, and then eventually we'll see that the count was corrected to what the system shows.
Shows the machine count and the manual count match up on all of the races. So we'll go ahead and get you guys' signatures.
Between the day before and Election Day, the Elections Office receives a large amount of ballots, more than can be processed and scanned for the preliminary election results. At 8 p.m. on Election Day, in front of observers, the room where the tally computer has been secured is opened, and the V-drives containing the cast ballots from the scanners is uploaded. The first list of election results is tabulated and printed.
I go back to my computer, which is whitelisted with the Secretary of State. My IP address is registered with them. And I will upload those detailed vote totals, and then I will proof them against the printed results. Then I will send by email that detailed vote total to the Secretary of State. They will proofread it before they publish it, because at that point we're using the internet, and we want to make sure what we've sent them is what they get. Now, every night after that, as long as we have 500 ballots to process, we will post new results, and then on certification day we'll do the official results. Canvassing board meeting for the August 2nd, 2022.
Election certification is done by the Clark County Canvassing Board. This board consists of 3 county elected officials, which includes 1 county councilor, the prosecuting attorney, and the county auditor. If the auditor is currently running for re-election that year, then a designee sits in their place.
And the canvassing board has the role of reviewing every ballot that's not counted for some reason. So that's every ballot envelope with a late postmark, every ballot envelope that's missing a signature or has a signature that doesn't match to the voter's registration record. Every single one of those is reviewed by the canvassing board.
Depending on the election and the amount to review, the canvassing board can meet a couple times. For the board's last meeting, election staff present a reconciliation report of the election.
When we're getting ready to certify the election, we want to make sure that the same number of ballots counted equals to the same number of people given credit for voting. And as an added piece to it, we actually count all the envelopes that we receive. So we know how many envelopes came in, so how many ballots were received. We know how many ballots were accepted, how many were rejected, and how many were counted. Solemnly swears that all of the information is true and correct.
It's the canvassing board's responsibility to certify the election results are accurate, and then those certified results are provided to the Secretary of State's office.
Nationwide, some people have become suspicious of the election process.
The best test of the integrity of an elections process is a recount. And in Clark County, since the mid-'80s, as far back as I've kept records, those recounts have not changed results of the original count and have confirmed the accuracy of the elections administration process. Most recently, in the fall of 2021, we had a recount of the Vancouver City race where we had more than 30,000 ballots, a very large recount. And again, that recount showed that the election system hardware and software was 100.0000% accurate.
I would say to people that don't really trust the results, you know, you need to. These are good people that are working for you, and all they want to do is give you accurate results. And we're kind of saddened by it. We're still doing the right thing, whether people believe us or not. We are counting ballots accurate.
And this is the first time voter, so that's why we're coming in.
The thing I would offer is become educated. Any member of the public or anybody has any doubts or concerns, we'll invite you to come and watch the process. We think that we have a very open, secure, safe process here. I think the more information that somebody's willing to come in and learn about the process, the more confident they're going to feel in the process.
People should have a very high level of confidence in the accuracy and integrity of the elections process here in Clark County. And if they have any questions or concerns, give me a call, send me an email. We're happy to provide as much information as someone is willing to take and answer any questions that anyone has.